Then comes fifth house. Fifth house governs creativity. How imaginative are you? How creative are you? Achha, one more thing, fourth house also governs your primary education, school. Okay, school education and all that. Fifth house will start governing your higher education, your creativity. Most importantly, all artistic people must have certain strong combinations with the fifth house. Fifth house also governs your children. If people have problems in childbirth, often there is some problem in the fifth house. Okay, it's sort of your vision of the future. Sometimes it happens that there may be a negative graha or some other problematic combination in the fifth house. So that individual does not have a clear vision of where am I going in the future. Or you will make plans and they'll never succeed. That's one of the things that fifth house causes the problem. Okay, so fifth house governs these things. Fifth house also governs, by the way, among many other houses also there, but fifth is the first one that governs your mantra. What is the natural affinity of the mantra? Which mantra will work naturally for you?
As in each of the grahas has its own deity.
No, this is generally speaking. Okay, to give an example, if somebody has, suppose, and mind you, again I'm saying that there are multiple combinations. This is just I'm telling you one. So in suppose fifth house is Mars. Now we have learned that Mars is connected to Hanumanji, Mars is connected to Narasimha, Mars is connected to Skandha, to Baglamukhi. You can choose one of these deities depending on some other what are the influences there in Mars, and say that you can start these deities upasana. Fifth house governs your first natural liking. And the beauty of this is that each house from its shrines, which is from that house, if you connect to fifth and ninth, the house, if you do a calculation 1, 2, 3, 4, if you take that as the base and connect the fifth one and the ninth one, so these houses will have a natural liking towards each other. 1, 5, 9 from any house basically means yourself is house 1, 5 is your children. So generally humanity will have a love for their child. Okay, if this was not there, why would a person take care of a child?
What about the ninth?
Ninth is your forefathers, your father.
Okay.
So this makes a very interesting, yourself, your future and your past. They are linked together. Okay.
We were at the fifth house.
Fifth house. Now let's come to the sixth house. This is the first difficult house in the horoscope. Sixth is the house of diseases. Sixth is the house of enemies. Sixth is the house of debts. Sixth is the house of court cases. All these things will come from sixth house. Okay. So if there's a problem of enemies or things like that, difficulties, from looking at the combination in the sixth house and the grahas, you can make out that whether how long it is going to last, or what is the way to get out of it, or if at all you can get out of it or not. And plus diseases and all that is governed by sixth house. Okay. On the positive side, sixth house can also indicate service. Service means to serve somebody without expectation. That is also governed by the sixth house. Okay. Then comes seventh house. Seventh house is the house of your spouse, your partner. Seventh house is also the window to the world. Okay, because it's just opposite to yourself. Seventh house is also a house of business, a partnership. If you're doing a business, so whether you will work or whether you will do business, in that seventh house plays a key role to determine. But more or less, your marriage and relationships, first thing is that seventh house it will govern. Very interestingly, by the way, fifth house governs a feeling of love. But whether that translates into something concrete eventually will be governed by the seventh house. And it is the job of the person who is doing the analysis to see how it links up everything. Okay. Then comes the eighth house. This is the mysterious house. Bad and good. Bad because it is a house where if a graha is placed, more or less it is going to give you trouble. That's certain. Just like sixth house. Sixth house is going to give you trouble. Eighth house is also going to give you trouble. Eighth house is everything in your life that you cannot see. Everything that you cannot predict. You thought that all bases are covered. Eighth house is what you never expect to happen. Unexpected things. accidents. Nobody expects an accident, right? Absolutely unknown things. That comes from 8th house. Whether sometimes you'll see a person, normal life is leading, out of the blue he acquires some wealth or something like that happens, or something, some sudden change that comes in, positive or negative. It's all 8th house. That which you could not predict before, no one could predict. Out of the blue it will happen. 8th house also governs your longevity, more or less how many years you will survive. 8th house is death. 8th house is sex. 7th house is also sex, but 8th house shows whether a person enjoys it or not. And it can also govern and show you if there are any kind of diseases or anything related to sexuality. All that will come out from the 8th house. 8th house is occult. Almost every individual who is good in occult will have certain strong 8th house combinations. Okay. Because occult means what? That which you cannot actually see in the normal sense. That's where your occult starts. 8th house governs all that. Okay. 8th house also governs things like Kundalini and all that. So 8th house also governs inheritance. Very interestingly. Okay. Whether you will attain inheritance, it also governs whether you will attain any inheritance from your spouse. Some people may marry into a very rich family. Okay, get something from there. So all that is governed by the condition of the 8th house.